Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for your second video of the day. The first one, I spoke about the board backing Thomas Tuchel, what I think this means, what the priorities need to be, some hypothetical scenarios about like what could go wrong and what would need to be done as a result of that. Go and check the link in the description. I'm also rebranding GBFC 2 because the whole other football stuff didn't quite work. I want to be doing more vlog style stuff over on there, so I'm rebranding it to GB Vlogs, uploading YouTube Shorts videos every day. There is going to be football content sandwiched in that channel as well, but I wanted to let you guys know about it with a link in the description. Go subscribe to my second channel. There's going to be more content there now. I've been working on a strategy for it for about 2 months, so we're finally seeing that come out. But in this video today, we are going to talk 4 different options, looking at potential Chelsea starting 11s, because even though we're the Club World Champions, we won both of our matches in the Club World Cup. I got a bit of stick for being a little bit too critical. People said we weren't actually that bad, we won both games, but I honestly think if Chelsea were playing Crystal Palace, who we've got the weekend away from home, with or without Conor Gallagher, I think we'd have been beaten by Palace if we'd have played anything like we did against Al Hilal, and then also the same against Palmeiras. We dominated possession in that second game particularly, but in terms of the quality, we didn't have it. And I think against the Premier League club, I think Palace probably would have beaten us. You know, I think it's a take that a lot of people would be like, how can you say that? They're, champions of South America. But I really don't think Palmeiras were that special. And I think Palace would give us more trouble. So in the video, we're going to take a little look through 4 different options of potential starting 11s. We've got a couple of options that kind of line up like a 3-4-3, 3-5-2. We can talk about how it would work and why certain players would be important. And we've also got a 4-4-2 in there that I want to discuss with both Lukaku and Kai Havertz up front. And what I want to get from you in the comments down below is, out of all of the 4 options that we're going to look through in today's video, I would love for you guys to let me know which one you think we should go with, not just against Palace, but what do you think Chelsea and Tuchel should do moving forward to get the best out of the abundance of attacking players we have at the club. Defensively, we are super solid with a back 3, but when we've got a back 4, we look more fluid going forward. And when we're playing with those 3 at the back, we have an isolated striker, or we have had, in Romelu Lukaku, and there's also a lot of players that will undoubtedly miss out as a result of playing in that system. There's positives of both, 3 at the back and 4 at the back. We won the Champions League playing with 3 at the back, so we're going to begin option number 1 by taking a look at a team that I think could well revolve around Kai Havertz. This one, hypothetically, removes Romelu Lukaku from the starting 11. I want to make this clear. I'm going to talk a lot about Lukaku in videos here this week on GBFC. I'm delighted that he scored 2 big goals to help Chelsea win the final trophy that we needed to complete the cabinet. Delighted about that. However, in those isolated moments, yes, Lukaku was there. Yes, Lukaku scored the goals. But I do think fundamentally that the overall performance and how it impacted Chelsea's fluidity in attack, I don't necessarily think Lukaku was beneficial to the team in either of the matches over the course of the entire 90 minutes. Some may disagree. I'm also always a firm believer that I'd rather win 1-0 and play awful than lose 4-3 and play incredibly well. And we got that result in the first game, and we almost got a similar result in the second, but for conceding 1 penalty, scoring another. But in this option, as you can see on the screen now, we have got the 3 at the back, which persists with Christensen, Thiago Silva and Tony Rudiger, and we've also got the returning Reece James. In all of the options in this video, I've gone without Mason Mount because Mason Mount picked up an injury to his ligaments on his ankle, which we don't currently know how long he's going to be out for. So with all of these formations, I'm looking not just at the entirety of the rest of the season, but I'm looking at the next few games for Chelsea to really resurrect what has been a poor run in the Premier League, to get ourselves firmly back in control of our destiny of finishing in the top 4. We're still in control, but it's looking a bit more shaky than it ever was a few months ago when we were in a title race back then. Let's be real. Reece James comes back in to the right wing-back position. Callum Hudson-Odoi continues to play in that left wing-back role. With this team that you can see on the screen, I've gone with Kante, Kovacic in the middle, and then a front three of Pulisic, Kai Havertz and Hakim Ziyech. I think first of all, focusing on the wing-backs. Reece James on the right, Hudson-Odoi on the left. Marcos Alonso, it's been clear since he came into the team that Marcos Alonso cannot do the same kind of job as Ben Chilwell was doing that made Chelsea so successful. So with Callum Hudson-Odoi here, as much as it isn't his preferred position, I think this starting 11 that you guys can see now, Callum is better than Christian Pulisic at doing those defensive jobs, in my opinion. Pulisic works incredibly hard, but we saw in that final against Palmeiras that when he is in and around the box or on the edge of the area, he's a very difficult player for opposition defences to pick up. There were times where Pulisic would sandwich himself between Palmeiras defenders, or he'd get between the ball and the byline, making Palmeiras players commit to him. Hakim Ziyech on that right-hand side, I was surprised he didn't start the final, and then I also think it wasn't a surprise that that fluidity in attack wasn't there, because he wasn't there. He's been our inform attacker, and in virtually all of these teams that I build today, Hakim Ziyech is in pretty much every single one of them, and I would like to see him feature more and more over the course of the next few weeks if he manages to continue this form. Kai Havertz through the middle, I think when we see the attacking prowess that we've got with Hudson-Odoi, got that assist for Lukaku in the final, Callum playing on the left, I think is better in terms of, is he able to do that defensive work? I think Callum is better than Christian Pulisic in that regard. There is also an argument that we could see, when Reece James comes back fully, Reece go over to the left in this formation, with Azpilicueta continuing on the right. That is an option, but let me know your thoughts on this starting 11 for option 1 in the comments down below. We move into option number 2, and with this one, I kind of address once again that option of having Reece James play on the left. I don't think Chelsea are going to use Marcos Alonso as long as Reece James and Azpilicueta are fit between now and the end of the season. I think Alonso is going to be used less and less. So with this formation, we have gone with Reece James on that left-hand side. In the middle, I've gone with Jorginho and Mateo Kovacic, which sees me omit N'Golo Kante from the starting 11. The only reason I'm doing this is because I think one of the biggest dilemmas we have right now is if we're playing with two central midfielders, who's going to be the one who misses out? In the final at the weekend, we saw Kova and N'Golo Kante together. N'Golo Kante, such an incredible player when he's on his game, but Jorginho, in terms of how he plays, we saw in the first half of the semi-final that Chelsea looks so much more solid. We look like we can create more with Jorginho in the side, and then when he comes out, there seems to be something missing. So at the moment, when I'm reading everybody's split opinions on social media about A, are Chelsea even playing well at all? I think possibly right now we're not. B, what is the best starting 11? I think even though Kovacic has been the informed midfielder, and N'Golo Kante has been obviously one of the world's best midfielders now for so long, I think that when we're talking about Chelsea's best 11 to move forward with, Jorginho is such a huge question in that conversation. Not is he good enough? It's just, can we manage to see a Kante or a Kovacic on the bench and Jorginho in the team as a result of that? Because Jorginho brings so much to this Chelsea team. And with this formation here, you can see I've also put Romelu Lukaku back up front. I personally do not think Lukaku can continue as Chelsea's lone striker. For me personally, I think the way that we're going to best move forward, if we move into option number 3, is with Lukaku up front with Kai Havertz. With this team, I've also gone and put Timo Werner on the left-hand side. Like I've said throughout this video, the purpose of this isn't to look forward of like, how do we see Chelsea lining up in May? This is, how do we fix the current issue, become more fluid in attack without losing that solidity we've got at the back? And Timo Werner, I actually thought had a very good game when he came on against Palmeiras. So with this one, we could easily both have Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic on that left-hand side. I've gone with Timo Werner because I want to know you guys' thoughts on this right now. Is there a place for Timo Werner in this Chelsea team? I've been very patient with Werner, but now it seems as though his minutes are becoming less and less. And when we talk about that question of the summer, and Chelsea going to have to sell some players to bring in Tuchel's targets, Timo Werner could be one that leaves. But in this one we've got on the screen now, option 3, Werner's on the left, Hakim Ziyech is still on the right with Lukaku and Kai Havertz up front. There's no doubt in my mind that Romelu Lukaku is still going to score goals. He's got 2 in his last 2. My concern is that against teams with better quality, Chelsea are going to need to create more chances. And I think with Lukaku being so isolated when he's up front on his own, I think it requires another player alongside him. And the reason I put Timo Werner in here is because Timo Werner's movement and Timo Werner's running, even if when he's on the ball he's not the most productive, it allows Kai Havertz a bit more freedom to drop deeper, to receive the ball early, for Chelsea to put it into Romelu Lukaku when he's got his back to defenders, to offload it to a Ziyech who we know is not going to hug that right touchline, who's going to come in to the centre on his left foot. And then defenders are also worried about what is Havertz going to do, how is Werner going to get into the box. I think with these 4 in the Chelsea starting 11, with Mason Mount supposedly being injured, I think this could cause chaos, potentially, if we could see this one work out perfectly. I've gone with Kante and Kova in the middle with this one because I think we're going to need people to do a bit more running than Jorginho would be able to do with this kind of 11. Reece James I've also put in left back with Aspi at right back for now because I just don't think we're able to believe that Alonso can do this job when we're playing with 4 at the back. It could be Reece on the right, Malang Sarr on the left. We've got Rudiger and Silva in the middle. Christensen drops out. Let me know your thoughts on option 3 in the comments below. And we finish with what looks like a 4-3-3 where we managed to have Jorginho, Kovacic, Kante all in the same team. This was actually one that was tweeted to me from one of you guys, so if you don't follow me on Twitter, I often ask questions for these kind of videos over there, and I really like this team. He's gone with Malang Sarr on the left, Reece James if we expect that he's going to be fit and ready to play again, Reece James on the right with Silva, Rudiger at the back, with Hudson-Odoi, Ziyech and Lukaku up front. I've been saying it for a while that I've wanted Kai Havertz in my starting 11, and when he's playing, I think at the weekend he played very well. I think he scored the winning goal too, which is going to boost his confidence. And I think Tuchel will look at this moment, and I don't think he's going to drop him for the game against Palace. I think Kai Havertz will play against Crystal Palace this weekend. But as you can see with this formation again, we've got Lukaku up there on his own. My question and my issue right now is that if we want to get the best out of Lukaku, which of course we want to do because he can be a wonderful, wonderful striker, I just think he has to be up there with someone else. And that isn't having a left winger as like an inverted forward, right winger as an inverted forward, in this case Ziyech, Hudson-Odoi. I think it's got to be someone playing more central with him, but still having those two coming from the wings. I think that is the way that Chelsea need to move forward. Hakim Ziyech has appeared in all of these because I think he's been in wonderful form. Let me know the starting 11 that you would pick for the next couple of games, with Crystal Palace being a big one at the weekend that Chelsea need to win. Hopefully you guys like these options. If you didn't like any of them, let me know why in the comments down below. Over the course of this week, there's going to be a lot more videos talking about how Chelsea can improve performances, get more fluid going forward whilst remaining solid at the back as we move in to a very important part of our season. We've got Champions League, knockout football next week. We've got a final of the Carabao Cup next weekend and a huge Premier League game to look forward to this weekend. So, let me know your thoughts on all the teams I've shown you in the comments below. Which is the best? Or if you don't like any of them, please tell me what you do like. Check out the video from earlier today. Subscribe to GBFC2, link below. Come on, you Blues.